Hey guys, Caller here, bringing you Game 2 of the Proleague series between eSTRO and STX Soul. And in this game we have a Terran versus Terran matchup, Upmagic playing for eSTRO and the STC playing for STX Soul. And Upmagic is a player I really like. He's a up-and-coming Terran player who's really known for interesting builds against all races, and we'll see if he decides to do anything interesting in this game. This map is Othello, and just looking at the stats for a second, Upmagic is a fairly experienced player, overall lifetime record of 50 wins to 55 losses. The STC is much less experienced. He only has a record of 4-9, so I guess I would give an early advantage to Upmagic, especially because he is a creative player. I don't remember exactly what he's done in specific games, but I do know he's pulled off some interesting wins. I remember that just from being creative and doing weird builds. Although Terran versus Terran, it is rather difficult to do a strange build unless you're doing some kind of uber early marine rush, or you decide to go for 2-port rates or something like that. Otherwise, they do tend to converge. The build orders do tend to converge in the early to mid games, and we're seeing at 10 o'clock Upmagic in yellow, and we're seeing here in red the STC at 1 o'clock in red. Yeah. So far we're not seeing any SCVs moving out, so I guess no early marine rush, I assume. Looks like a SCV moving north for the STC. Looks like he is going to just get supply depot here, and a supply depot in the base for Upmagic. So game 1 was a surprising victory for C, really. I expected Kal to win, given that Kal was a much more experienced player, given that C really's record was quite bad. I think it was 1-5 prior to that game. I really didn't think he had much of a chance against Kal, but Kal really is just showing his weakness in allowing 2 critical scouts into his base, allowing first C really to see the Dragoon Rush coming, seeing the 2 gateways and the cybernetics core, and then again allowing C really to see the shuttle and the Templar archives, and really just cost him the game there. Anyway, so we'll see if the STC can hold it up for Soul this game. Otherwise, Soul would be down 2-0 against eSTRO. And eSTRO, not with a good record last year, so that would be a surprising turn of events here. Looks like actually both players could be going for a fast expand. I don't see a barracks up for either player, so both of them could be going for a fast expand here on Othello. And Othello, each base does come with an expansion. There is an interesting artifact overlooking the natural expansion, just like on Andromeda, is a ridge where tanks and whatnot can shell the natural expansion, and it's blocked from the main area by a neutral building, in this case a neutral temple. So both players going for mirror builds here. Both look like they went for a 14 command center, and looks like, yeah, both going for barracks actually, right at the choke point here. So both going for absolutely identical builds here. Upmagic might be a sliver of a second faster, but so far, identical builds, really showing you how much Terran versus Terran is a convergent game. And it looks like this game will be a long game because of this sort of macro-style opening here for both players. So we could be seeing one of those long Terran versus Terran games that's going to come down to really dropships, Goliaths, and tanks. And that's not a bad kind of game. It's not necessarily my favorite type of game, but it's a really interesting game that I have absolutely no idea how to play. Realize that because I play random sometimes in Battle.net, and I try to do that, and then either I die from Zerglings early in the game, or it just fails miserably. Yeah, so unfortunately, finally both players sending a scout. Well, actually, just the STC sending out a scout. Looks like he's going to go to the cross position. Not going to find Upmagic immediately. Looks like both players also building 1 Marine and transferring SCVs. So, complete mirror matchup so far. Factor going up for both players. So both players definitely having studied off of the same book here. And that little neutral power generator is going to be able to create a little bit of a choke. Makes it harder for vultures to get in. And I'll be expecting a divergence here in seeing who goes for vultures and who goes for an early tank, and whether either player goes for an early starport. Those, I guess, would be the choices at this point. Otherwise, it is pretty limited in the decisions that could be made by now. Looks like Upmagic is going to get scouted in within the STC's base. He's going to see that everything is pretty much the same, and looks like an SCV actually killing his SCV. A bunker up for the STC, so a little worried about vulture push, and looks like the same for Upmagic, so both a little worried about a vulture running into their bases. 1 factory up with a machine shop going up for the STC, and what's that he's building there? That's a starport, so he could be doing for something different. No, he's not doing anything different because Upmagic's also building a starport after getting his machine shop, so both players, we'll see if either player decides to build a Wraith. I guess that would be the next point of divergence, if they're not just going to play mirror matchup the entire game, which could be, interesting in that both will. It will come down to micro, I guess. Micromanagement will be what's important, and not so much the build orders, because they're exactly the same. STC not able to get a scout in because he scouted last, but that's not going to be a huge disadvantage, especially now because he's floating the barracks over. It looks like something being built at the factory here for STC. I assume a tank, could be a vulture, but I assume a tank. And looks like a Wraith being built for both players again. I haven't watched this VOD or anything, so I'm just amazed at how similar their builds are. Exactly mirror matchup. So these Wraiths may do some air-to-air combat here. And that's gonna we'll see if they decide to mimic each other completely through this entire game. That would be really interesting. Both players now are gonna get a scout out with their floating barracks, it seems, or at least Upmagic's gonna get the scout out early on. It looks like STC is gonna try to shoo it away, and Upmagic, yeah, Upmagic. Okay, so a tank out for STC, and we'll see what these Wraiths can do. Wraiths are obviously good for scouting, also good for putting a little bit of pressure on an early tank, but the fact that both players went for Wraiths is going to really mitigate any advantage here from either player. It looks like an armory going up for Upmagic. Upmagic doesn't get chased away by those 3 Marines. Looks like Upmagic's Wraith's going to get taken down by STC's Wraith here. Some air combat here, not going well for Upmagic, yeah. The Wraith wins for STC, so I guess he's a little bit ahead. He's deciding to go for a control tower instead of going for more Wraiths, whereas Upmagic is deciding to go for more Wraiths. And I'm not sure who that gives the advantage to. Both players with 2 factories now, and Upmagic is going to have Goliaths a little earlier now, and it looks like another Wraith up for Upmagic, so he's going to be able to destroy the Wraith from STC. So back down to 1 Wraith for both players, or rather 1 Wraith just for Upmagic. And Upmagic does have siege mode. He has some tanks in the front here, and the first drop could prove critical on this map, depending on where it goes, whether STC decides to go for a tank drop or perhaps going for a vulture drop in the main. Everything is possible here, and really the dropship count is going to be quite important, as it always is in Terran versus Terran in this match now, because they have gotten to this sort of point where they both have gone for tanks and starports. And looks like actually Upmagic going for a little attack here. He's pushed up his tanks to a forward position, and he might be able to shell the natural expansion of STC. Actually, no, I don't think this is in this map. It's actually not within range at all. I'm wrong about that. And Andromeda is within range, but he is going to get sort of a position here overlooking that area. And looks like the Wraith trying to do a little micro and harassing the first dropship for the STC. And the STC doesn't have a Wraith to counter it. Just has 2 Goliaths, which are going to be good enough though to protect the shuttle at least. Now tanks moving up. Actually, I don't know why STC is hanging around there with his Goliaths. I guess just to make sure the tanks don't push forward too much. And looks like this push is going to get stopped. But the tanks on the bottom now are going to get taken out by the STC, I think. 3 tanks on the ridge for the STC versus 2 on the bottom. So Upmagic is going to lose all these tanks right now. And yeah, STC managing to hold this off, I feel. Upmagic bringing 2 more tanks, but they're under the ridge. They're going to have a disadvantage. They're going to have a mischance against these tanks on the front here. But now